Now we're going to look ahead to the action at Epsom on Friday and Saturday with the Oaks and the Derby fast approaching. But let's start off with the Coronation Cup, a race that's shaping up to be pretty exciting. Tom, just run us through the prices.
Yeah, Kew Gardens 7-4, Fav Lati Dar next in 7-2 alongside Old Persian, Salowen 8-1 alongside Magical, 10-1 Morando Coronet, and 16-1 and Bigger the Rest.
Yeah, I quite like one that you've not even mentioned there. I was just chatting to Robbie before we went on air. But anyway, we'll go to you guys first. Robbie, do you think Kew Gardens can sort of bounce back from his disappointment at Chester?
He certainly can, but I wouldn't want to be taking a short price out of him. I was really disappointed with him at Chester. I was expecting a really big season. He's obviously going to come on from it, but he seemed to have quite a hard race as well.
Alarming that Ryan Moore jumped off afterwards as well a little bit, wasn't it?
Very concerning, yeah. He's not a horse to give up on, but having said that, he's not a horse I'd want to be taken as favourite here. Old Persian supplemented is quite interesting. He's very much on the up, but the horse who I thought was a bit underestimated, as I was telling you before, is Coronet. She has so much Group 1 form without winning one. Just last season, second in the Yorkshire Oaks to Sea of Class, third in the King George behind Poet's Word and Crystal Ocean, second to Magical in the Champion Fillies and Mares, second to Wallgeist in the Prix de Saint-Cloud. All top class horses. She deserves one of these. I know she is a bit disappointed in her seasonal return, but she will come forward from that. I thought around 14-1. I thought that had a bit of juice in it.
Okay, John Gosden's horses, I think you could argue, Jimmy, probably not quite firing on all cylinders this season, maybe? Is that fair? A bit harsh?
Well, Calix obviously was disappointed. As I mentioned earlier, John Gosden's horses tend to improve as the season goes on. But no, he still had a few winners on over the weekend. I mean, he's not in bad form. So Lati Dar certainly has her chance. This isn't the classiest running, I would say, of the Coronation Cup. It's very competitive.
There's quite a bit of depth to it, though, isn't
there? A lot of depth. I have to say, on his as much as on his performance at Ascot first time out as on his run against Cracksman last year, I think you've got to give Salowen a really good chance. I know that a lot of his form away from Epsom, you would say, well, he's not really a Group 1 horse. But both his run in the Derby and in last year's race was top class, and he ran really well at Ascot. He looks like he could be improving as he's getting older. And if you look in the last 10 years, older horses actually have had a very good record in this race. Any rain, there is a bit of rain forecast for the week, would certainly help his chance.
Yeah, it would. The one I'm interested in is Marmello. I think he's around 25-1. I think that's a really big price given his form against the likes of Cross Counter, and he looked really good in his return, but who knows, it could be a step too far. Tom, any thoughts on the Coronation Cup?
Absolutely with you, Maddie. I think Marmello's a cracking bet at 25s. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but he's a horse I love. He's only been out of the frame 4 times in his 18 runs. He's a real money spinner, and he's gone to Australia the last 2 years and ran good races. And as James highlighted, this isn't the best running ever of the Coronation Cup. He's only rated 117. I'd actually say he's probably a slightly better horse. He thumped Defoe, who's 117 the last day as well on his first run back. So yeah, at 25-1, I think Marmello is a savage price, and I think he could run a very big race.
Yeah, I can't see him being that price in the day. Just don't get too carried away. We need them to keep that price what it is.
You're on, Maddie, doesn't matter.
I'm not on yet. I need to get on. Anyway, we'll move on to the Investec Oaks. Plenty of money recently for Medea, however you pronounce that, John Gosden's filly. Tom, can you see that support being sustained, or is the lad's Pink Dogwood, is that going to come forward into the betting a bit more?
I would say Pink Dogwood could be very, very well backed on the day. We're Medea 9-4 favourite, Pink Dogwood 11-4, 6-1 bar. If you look back at the form of the Salsabil Stakes, which is Pink Dogwood's last run, it's a listed race in Navan, and the form is absolutely incredible. I will pull it up here and just talk you very quickly through it, because there's a whole heap of horses. I'm just trying to get it now is the next thing. The second hasn't ran since, but the third, Tarnawa in the Salsabil Stakes, came out and won a Group 3 in Navan the next day. The fourth, Fresnel, ran an absolute blinder to finish 4th in the Musadora as well. Credenza is Group 3 placed. She was 6th in that race. And Trotheus is Group 3 placed as well. So the form of that Salsabil Stakes is absolutely incredible, and I'm surprised we're 11-4 Pink Pink Dogwood for the Oaks. I think she could be very, very well backed on the day.
Yeah, there seem to be very, very strong vibes about Pink Dogwood, guys. Personally, I'm not just buying it yet. I'd like to see a little bit more from her. What do you think, Jimmy?
It's a fascinating race, this. She's got a lot to find on form, but the 2 runs I've seen from her so far, Francolina has really impressed me.
I was surprised that she was left in a little bit because she's very lightly raced.
But I think I'm expecting, providing she handles the track. Yeah,
she was the eye catch from the Musadora, wasn't she?
She was the eye catcher from the Musadora. I thought she was pretty green when she won first time at Yarmouth. I mean, both from Yarmouth to the Musadora, she stepped up a huge amount. On form, you wouldn't have given her a chance on that Yarmouth run in the Musadora, but she nearly won it despite missing the break. I'm expecting a big improvement again. William Haggis's fillies tend to improve a lot for their first run. And she's well bred. It's just a question of whether she can handle the track, whether she can handle all the preliminaries and everything. But if she can, I'm expecting a big run from her. So she'd be my main hope. I mean, obviously, the 2 fillies at the top of the market, you've got to seriously respect. If rain comes this week, Medaille's got to have a serious chance. She was very impressive in the Chester Oaks. And as you mentioned, the vibes for Pink Dogwood are very, very strong indeed. I also think that Delphina, if she takes a chance for Aidan O'Brien, could run well at a big price. So she might be a bit of each way interest, but my main hope would be Francolina.
Yeah, it's not heard of Aidan O'Brien to have the 1, 2, 3 in races like that, so I won't put it past him. Robbie, who's your fancy?
Well, Hermosa's been left in, but it's unlikely she's going to turn out only 5 days after the Irish Guineas. I'd love her if she turned up.
If she turned up, do you think she'd win?
No, I think it's come a bit too soon. But I mean, Aidan's had it on many occasions where horses have backed up quickly and put in improved performances. I am very much with Jimmy. I love Francolina. I'm just a bit concerned about the track and the occasion. If she turns up at Epsom, whatever she does afterwards, she'll improve from. I've actually already backed her for the Ribblesdale, around 12-1 with one firm. But not many firms have priced it up. But you could see an improved showing at Ascot, certainly, as she starts to mature. I think Medaille is a fair favourite. But if you force me into a bet, I'd stick with Francolina for this as well as the Ribblesdale. Okay, and just to chuck another few in there, what about the Pretty Polly winner Maxad, and what about Anna Perner who won at Lingfield? Jimmy, who would you have as sort of best the rest?
I liked Anna Perner at Lingfield. She looked
quite a small filly, apparently.
Quite small, so yeah, on appearances, I wasn't.
That could help round Epsom though.
Well, yeah,
bigger filly, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, you want someone with a long stride as well. But I was impressed with her at Lingfield. I liked the way she handled the bend. I mean, I think she's very much a stable second string behind Medaille, but I would marginally prefer to Maxid. Maxid was impressive at Newmarket. You just got a question mark about her stamina for this.
Yeah, for sure. I know that Frank Hickey's really mad keen on Manuela de Vega, who finished behind Medaille at Chester, so she could well feature as well. Let's move on then to the Saturday and the Derby. But before we do, it's the Investec Dash, one of the fastest races in the country. Just roll us through the betting for that one, Tom.
Yeah, Hatik was a good winner at the Curragh over the weekend. He was clipped from 10s into 6-1 favourite for the Dash now. Copper Knight next in 8s alongside old favourite Duke of Firenze and Dark Shot. Muthmere 10s, Ornate 12s alongside Just the Lord and Kick On. And it's 14-1 and bigger the rest.
Thanks very much. Yeah, you mentioned Duke of Firenze. Hard to believe he won this race back in 2013. What a grand old boy he is, Jimmy.
Yes, won at Thirsk and then won again at York on Saturday. He's always had a good record at York, but he's also run very well here before. And yeah, no definite chance. I mean, gosh, you could throw a blanket over these. You've got to see what the draw's going to be like. And yeah, they've got to have the brakes and everything. I'll probably make a final decision on Saturday, to be honest with you. But I might have to have a saver on Blue de Vega, who probably didn't get the best run last season. And it's definitely got the talent to win this. Just needs a break. But I mean, a fast run 5 furlongs, I've always thought suited him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's interesting.
Very interesting horse. Robbie, how do you approach a race like the Dash?
Just wanted to touch upon Duke of Firenze actually. I saw a fascinating stat that he's been beaten at 1.01 in running, and he's won at 1,000 to 1 in running. Wow. There can't be many horses that have done that. How do you approach it? Well, you probably have to fire as many darts as possible, but today, myself and Jimmy Hill are very much singing from the same hymn sheet because I've got Blue de Vega in my notes as well. He wasn't even on north of 14 to 1. Looks a bet. He's £5 lower than when fourth in this last year. He's kind of in and out. He doesn't win as often as he should, but he is well treated on past form. He ran in the Irish 2000 Guineas a few years ago for Michael O'Callaghan. He's obviously turned into a sprinter now. He'd be the way I'd be looking to play here.
I think I backed him for the English 2000 Guineas a long time ago. It tells you how poor my betting is. Tom, any thoughts to add on the dash?
No, downhill 5 furlongs is definitely not my bag. I'll leave the professionals to form their opinion there. So
okay.
No, I'll dodge that bullet.
Sure, no problem. One bullet that you're definitely not dodging is the Investec Derby. Now, great news today that both Sir Dragonet and Telecaster are going to run in the race. That adds so much to the race as a spectacle. Run us through the fresh betting, Tom.
Yeah, Sir Dragonet is still at the top of the market, 3 to 1. Broome next in 9 to 2 alongside the supplemented Telecaster. Anthony Van Dyke 6 to 1. Bangkok is 8 to 1. Japan 10s and 12 to 1, and bigger the rest.
Let's talk about Sir Dragonet as a favourite then, Tom. I mean, still so inexperienced. People are worrying if it's going to be a dry week about the ground. What about the occasion and things like that? He seemed very relaxed at Chester. Could you see him taking a bit of a walk in the market with other horses coming in towards post time?
Listening to whispers at the Curragh at the weekend, no.
Okay.
I would say there's been some serious bits of work done in the last couple of weeks, and I would say, listening to whispers now, I'd say he's definitely the one they're very, very keen on. I know there's a few people that think Japan might improve of the rest of the Ballydoyle runners, but if you were to listen to a few people in the Curragh now at the weekend, Sir Dragonet was very much on the tip of their tongues.
I love this. We've got like a little mole who's going around telling us all the gossip. Sir Dragonet, Robbie, I mean, do you fancy him?
Mightily impressive at Chester.
He was.
I think he's one of about 7 or 8 horses who could win. I think it looks an excellent race. You can make a case for so many.
It does look a good race.
He wouldn't be the bet for me. I loved what Anthony Van Dyke did at Lingfield. First time out, he'll definitely improve from that. He was obviously a very smart juvenile. He's an even better 3-year-old now. He's hardy, he's experienced, he's got a lot of class. And if you forced me for a bet at this stage, it'd be Anthony Van Dyke. But I mean, you go through so many of the runners. You've got the English Challenge of Telecaster and Bangkok. I mean, they're big players again. You might worry that the race, the Dante might come. This might come a bit too soon after the Dante for Telecaster. They were concerned about that. But I mean, seriously, I think it's excellent. It's one to savour. I won't be betting yet. We'll have a look on the day to see if anything looks a bit juicy. But yeah, brilliant race.
Yeah, it could be a wise tactic. Jimmy, Aidan O'Brien, he sort of held the major hand in all the trials. He's got Broome, we mustn't forget about him. Anthony Van Dyke, that Robbie's mentioned, and Sir Dragonet. Where's your money going to be lying?
I agree with Robbie. I think the most solid contender from Ballydoyle is Anthony Van Dyke. He should come on a lot from his Lingfield reappearance. He wasn't fancied in the market at all that day. Ground was against him, but I mean, he handled the track very well. The step up in trips seemed no problem at all to him. So I'm half a furlong more. I don't think it will be a problem. His stamina's fine. So I'm expecting a big improvement, and we know from his form last season that he's got the quality to win a derby. So Dragonet, I mean, yeah, he could absolutely dot up. He could be anything, really. He was very, very impressive at Chester. But, with a colt we know so little about for a race like this, I just can't be taking too short a price about him. Interesting that so many of you fancy Momello for the Coronation Cup, because I think people at Hughie Morrison's will tell you that quite a lot of the time Telecaster works all over Momello. So if that one wins the Coronation Cup, that's a big boost to his chances in the Derby. That's
interesting. I like that. And Tom, back to you. Are you going to be sort of sticking to these whispers, or are you on something at a juicy price?
I thought Bangkok is a big price at 8 to 1, given he beat Telecaster in his maiden. Now, Telecaster's had the opportunity to put up some big figures in the interim, but I think Bangkok could be just as good, if not better, and he's almost twice the price. So yeah, Bangkok for me each way. Yeah,
I definitely agree with you on that. I was looking through the race just before, and I thought he's the one who's perhaps been overlooked a little bit. Telecaster, maybe the occasion might get to him a little bit. He does seem a slightly buzzy horse. But anyway, that wraps up our Investec Derby preview. We'll be back on Friday, of course, to talk through the race in much more detail, so stay tuned for that.